Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're turning, welcome back. You know how we do if it doesn't resonate with you. If you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So let's go ahead and let's begin. Taking a step aside. And allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. Where are we going? Where are we going today? All right. It's weird. It's like none of the decks stood out to me just now, and so there may be an energy that someone here is experiencing inside this collective that is different than what they've experienced before. That's what it's saying to me. There's something about leaving our comfort zones, and our known ways for handling something are not working, right? Or our known ways of going about things aren't working, or the tried and true methods aren't working. They're not speaking the same language somehow. Okay. Came out yesterday. We have the many masks, the authentic self, right? Now, yesterday's message was about getting behind the authentic self of the ego identity, right? And getting behind that into the true authentic self. There is part of this message may overlap with that, so I am going to put yesterday's message at the end of this one, so you can check that out if this one resonates for you. But there's layers and layers and layers that are being, like, I almost feel like ferociously, furiously, like aggressively even in some ways, stripped away. And this may be happening through life events. We may be initiating this ourselves. And with that authentic self behind the authentic self, notice this. It's even in this image. Notice how there's a face deep inside of here. Okay, very interesting. I didn't notice that yesterday. Unmarked trail. Again, doing something we haven't done, going in a direction we haven't gone, using tools we haven't used, being in an energy that we've never experienced before. We have the unmarked trail. There are revelations coming in because we're so outside of what we've known, right? This is where we take a giant leap outside of a paradigm that we've always existed in, and all of a sudden we find that the paradigm that we existed in previously was so tiny, and now something large has very much opened up. And this feels very much like it's not, it can be about the world and how we relate to people and the universe, but this feels more about the self. It feels more like it's about the self. Okay. This is interesting because right now this card is striking me a little differently than it normally does. We have benefactor, grace, and generosity. This is really making me feel like the merging of the feminine and masculine aspects, our internal divine king and our internal divine queen, right? And the merging of those two things in order to work together. There's something about our own personal masculine energy that has elevated in some way. And so this include, you know, what this would look like is we stop oppressing our feminine energy. In other words, we listen to our intuition. We listen to ourself when there's things that we like or we don't like. We are, you know, more protective of that feminine energy and that feminine voice inside of us rather than trying to suppress it, right? You want to do this, well, you can't, or you know, this is your dream, but you know you're never going to make that work. Like it's the naysayer, the part that's always trying to control. Someone here has like really cleaned up that divine masculine energy inside of them, has really strengthened divine feminine energy inside of them so that the two are now healthy, right? And working in healthy things here. Yeah, very interesting. There's also something here about the uprooting of our priorities. There are things that were priorities before that are no longer priorities, or we at least understand that they can't be, right? The reason why I'm saying that is because one of these Amanita muscaria mushrooms, even though it's not, it looked like for a moment like it was floating away. And so our priorities have shifted. They've shifted to higher things, right? Now notice how safe this feminine energy looks here. She's got her eyes closed. She's just resting on her dude. And this is telling me that there's a part of us, the reason why this is opening up, why there seems to be something, it is an opening up into that last message that I did. One of the things that's taking place is because we're finally listening to ourselves, right? So there's something very deep inside that aligns a little bit more femininely, right? More yin. Again, that's the subconscious space, is very yin, that is feeling safe to speak. It's feeling safe to come out now. Interesting. Okay, so someone here has definitely cultivated their own sense of personal safety. Remember in yesterday's message, one of the things I said was its root, it has its place in the stars. And then card we have coming out as I'm stepping into that energy is the Starborn again. We have 2 number 3 showing up also, representing foundations, earthly foundations, spiritual foundations. Okay. And the creator. Okay. And that's kind of the message that came out yesterday about that energy, is that this is our source. Whatever it is that we are stepping into the authenticity of, it's our own source energy, our ability to create inside of the world, right? Not just from a masculine energy standpoint of doing, right? But from a masculine and feminine energy standpoint, which is where we create amazing things inside of our life, amazing works of art, amazing literature, amazing businesses, amazing partnerships. Someone here is really coming into alignment with that starborn self, right? The self that is eternal, and creating magnificent things inside of this. The thing about that creation is that there's an understanding that those creations sometimes are finite, right? There's a time to create and a time to destroy. And there's a balance of those energies that is emerging. And this may be part of what is the paradigm shift for someone, is they're coming into this space where they're understanding the value of both life and death. Someone here is seeing behind the mask, seeing behind a corner, seeing behind, like, it's like I get a glimpse at the Wizard of Oz. I get to see what it actually is. And when I see it, it's not necessarily a disappointment. It's more personable than I realized. It's more personal than I realized. Interesting. All right. Okay, we have Keeper of Self-Love. This is one of the practices that has gotten you this far, which is why we've been practicing our ego identity's authenticity, right? Who am I? What do I like to do? What do I enjoy doing? What do I want to do with my life? What do I want to craft for myself? What parts of my life do I need to pay attention to? Do I need to listen to my emotions more? Do I need to listen to my body more? Someone has really been on that journey of deeper self-love, and that's what's causing this access to be gained to this primordial energy. Okay, Keeper of the Invisibles. Yeah, we're passing from this self-love into invisible spaces within us. And if you notice here, this is very beautiful. I'm almost seeing this. So we have this woman here. And it's almost like she's discovering this very powerful essence inside of her. And, you know, if you're male or female, doesn't matter. Like I said, this is some sort of creatrix energy that exists inside of all of us. And this is where our abundance as a soul resides. So whoever's message this is, you are on a very highly evolved path, right? And that has come out a couple times in the messages this week. So I'm definitely tapping into a collective here who has been on this journey for quite a while. Some of you may be starting this journey and you may be getting glimpses of this, right? But there's something in the song that we're singing. There's something in the beliefs that we're holding. There's something in the vibration that we're resonating, where we're ready now to step into this energy and make contact. And that's how it feels. It doesn't feel like a full embodying of this. It's making contact, having a line to it, right? Allowing our ego identity to have a line to this energy. You could not hold me. It feels a little bit like that is in terms of what I just said about not necessarily embodying it. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be. Here we have the keeper of the wild. This is, again, that sort of primordial wild force of creation and destruction. And there's this dragonfly flying over the moon here. There's something very primal in the emotional spaces that's coming up right now. We may be having situations around us that are bringing up those very wild primal energies. You know, this might look like rage for some of you. This might look like intense anxiety, intense fear. This is a part of the process as we're making like a ripple on the top of the wave, right? When you pierce through the water, you make a little bit of a splash. And that's kind of what's going on here. As someone's peeking behind that veil, there's a little bit of a ripple that's sent out inside of our psychology. So whoever's message this is a very intense time. You may be in a little bit of a quiet space inside of your life, but emotionally it feels like there's some intensity that's starting to crop up. This is essentially us entering our internal sanctuary, right? This is our internal temple. And I don't mean that in the sense that I have previously when I said create like, you know, an inner temple for your meditations. This is the space of the holy inside of us. And whoever's message this is, we're gaining access to that. We've gotten into our authentic self, and now we're going deeper, right? Through a process of self-love, through a process of desiring to become better and better. Here we have the keeper of trust. One of the things that we've had to learn here, this is the last card they're saying, one of the things we've had to learn here is how to surrender, right? How to accept and how to surrender, how to allow the flow to happen, how to understand that the things inside of our life are truly happening for us, right? If someone wants to leave, we'll let them, right? If a job wants to let you go, let them. Everything is happening for you to align to some sort of sense of self inside of yourself. And those things don't always happen the easy way. Those things sometimes, because of our own ego identity and our stubbornness or our inability to see our own blind spots, they have to happen in very harsh ways. And sometimes we part ways with things and then we realize what it was that we were missing so that we can return and become a better match. Some of you are, you know, really cultivating something that's new and is beginning. And the reason why I'm saying that is as she has her eyes closed and she's surrendering into this flow, she has this acorn. And that acorn almost gives that sense with that little glow around it that it's about to sprout, right? Something new is being birthed, especially within that heart space, especially within the space of the higher heart here. This is a short message, but this is what they have to say. So this is all I'm going to put out there today. I hope this resonates. If it does, please hit that like button. Feel free to leave me a comment. And until next time.